Hello, everyone. Welcome back. NTL Sports here. We're on episode 117. All right, I know we've been slacking. I know we said last week we were gonna start getting back to our two a weeks. And this week, I promise y'all, hopefully no schedule complaints or no schedule conflictions or anything like that. We will get back to our regular schedule programming. Past couple weeks have been a little bit conflicting with me being on vacation for past couple weeks, and then Lawrence has some things he wanted to do, so we decided to not film a day or two. So, but that's changed. We're gonna No matter what, we're gonna try and get 2 episodes going forward, even if that means that we might have to record some episodes solo. But we gonna get back on the content train. Week 4 of the NFL is here, and we're gonna cover it along with college football week 5. A lot of great games, some controversial calls that were made in certain games. We'll cover all of that coming up soon. So, with all that being said, stay tuned. And then we'll just work our way, going into college football. I didn't watch a lot of college football, to be honest, you guys, since I was traveling most of Saturday, and then so pretty much only the night games I watched, to be honest, for the Saturday college football slate. But we'll still go over some of the games. Um, but without further ado, let's get into this NFL action now. I reluctantly spent the big bucks on NFL Sunday Ticket. Shout out to FanDuel for giving some of your users that free 3 weeks. But y'all, I got screwed. They sent me $140 off Sunday Ticket, but I already subscribed as of yesterday afternoon, right before the Cincinnati and Panthers kicked off. So I think I'm kind of screwed on that end. But what can you do? I wish they would have said something ahead of time, but it's not the here nor now. Um, but as you can see, we got 2 games going on Monday night. Dolphins, Dolphins without two of y'all, they look rough. I'm just gonna say it right now, they look rough. They look rough in the first game, to be honest. They should have lost that one to the Jags. Jags are kicking themselves because they're over. They look pretty damn bad. And then Seahawks versus Lions, they're at halftime. Um, Thoughts on this one? Looks like the Lions just got a lot of firepower. And the Seahawks, even though they're 3-0, looking like they don't have quite enough firepower to match them. The defense is kind of lacking. This is coming from a team that almost lost to the Patriots too. So, and it's still early in the season, y'all. Week 4, we can't really make too many determinations yet, because a lot of things can go either way for a lot of these teams. So, don't put too much stock into what you see, you know, tonight, Monday night. I'm speaking about tonight or Sunday, with these games. So we'll really start evaluating teams probably come week 6. We won't do the midseason recap then, but we'll just take like a quick couple minutes and just discuss, through 6 weeks, how do we see this NFL season shaking up, like who are potential pretenders or who are potential contenders, stuff like that. So I'll just go through the games I watched. I did watch Cowboys Giants. Um, yeah, Cowboys. Y'all, the Cowboys are just not good, man. The Giants play really well. I think they um were they in New York? They were in New York. Yeah, so I mean they play well for being at home. The Cowboys should have crushed them, to be honest, but something about the Cowboys defense this year. I know Mike Zimmer's a good defensive defensive coordinator, but I don't know. I don't know. Something's just not clicking. I think Dan Quinn really had a hold on the defense, even though he kind of let the Packers do whatever they wanted in last year's wild card game. But I think he really had control of the defense, and then Mike Zimmer's coming in, trying to pick up where Dan Quinn left off, and I don't think it's coming to fruition, and I don't think they have the personnel, like when you don't really change over your roster, you really just keep everything, intact, and you know that the last year's roster wasn't even good enough to get you past the wild card. It's kind of puzzling. Jerry Jones blames it on being able to sign guys and spend money and gymnastics and stuff like that. But long term, Cowboys. I know this is only 4 games in, but this is not a good sign for the Cowboys. They should have blew the Giants out. I mean, they should have won by like double digits easily. I don't know what the hell is going on with them. Saints Falcons. I'm not gonna lie. In the 1 o'clock window, I had multi-view on, but I pretty much pay attention to Cincinnati and Carolina because it was a must-win for both teams. Now, I did watch Vikings Packers because that was also the local game for whatever reason. That was the local game here in Northern Virginia. So, um, my quick thoughts on this one, guys. I think Jordan Love came back way too soon. Malik Willis was doing just fine. I think why rush him back? I know, I, as a player, you want to be out there as soon as you can, but sometimes you need people to save you from yourself. And I feel like this is one of the games where let's keep it a buck. Malik Willis was on a mini heater. He was playing well. Team was rallying against him. Jordan Love, you had nothing to worry about, bro. They just paid you $200 million. You're the tied for the highest paid quarterback in the league, bro. You're not going anywhere. Malik Willis isn't taking your job. If anything, you're getting this man paid by staying out longer. So you should have done him. First of all, you should have done him a service by saying, "Hey, I'll sit out another week. Just go ahead and keep cooking." Because he was cooking. And number two, your team probably would have been in a better position to win the game because you had 3 turnovers, and you had the Brett Favre jersey before the game. You damn sure looked like him with all the turnovers and the picks. So I didn't like that. I think Malik Willis should have started this game. Should have gave yourself an extra week. It is a divisional game, so I understand the urgency, but it's still early in the season. I know the Vikings are hot, but it would have been in the world if you lost this game. I mean, you still lost it anyway. So, I mean, hindsight is 2020, but from the outside looking in, I would have not have played. I think this is a situation where the coach should have put his foot down. Matt LaFleur should have said, "No, you're not playing. Malik Willis is playing fine. Just come back when you're 100%." Jordan Love looked like 80. And 80% Jordan Love is not good enough to take down this Minnesota team. Even though the score says they only lost by 2, bro, they were getting stomped. Like, it was ridiculous. So, don't let the score fool you. This game was not close. Packers honestly should be ashamed of themselves. Should have played Malik Willis. He was playing damn good. Yeah, the 1 o'clock window is pretty much the only game I watch. Honestly, the Colts Steelers, it was coming on and off in red zone, but I was really paying attention to it. Broncos Jets was the other game in the multi-view. Broncos Jets, a shit show. Honestly, I didn't pay too much attention to this. Both teams did not play well. Aaron Rodgers did not play well. Bo Nix was Bo Nix. There's not much else to say about that. So, I mean, this is a very winnable game. You're at home, New York. Like, this is pretty pathetic. You lost by 1. This is pretty pathetic. Aaron Rodgers, you're a super veteran, like former MVP. I know you're coming off Achilles, but hey, this is your 4th game back, bro. Like, we're still gonna give you the benefit of the doubt, but at what point are you just gonna be we're not asking you to be superhuman, but we're asking you to at least like win you games you're supposed to win. Like, you're Aaron Rodgers, you hype yourself up, you hype everyone else up to say, hey, I'm back and just back to my old self and this and that. So for the New York Jets fan base, I feel like this is a letdown. You got Aaron Rodgers to win games like this, and honestly, Zach Wilson, if he was playing in this game last year, he probably would have done like he would have gave you the same result. So that's not good. Like, honestly, he would have gave you the same result. So, from that standpoint, not a good game. They can't let too many of these get away from them because The Bills are in the division, and the Bills are looking pretty good, even though they got stomped last night. Um, that's still one team you gotta look out for, in addition to all the other AFC teams. So bad loss by the Jets. Uh, Eagles Bucks. I didn't. This was flashing on red zone. Honestly, disappointment. Eagles. I know they don't have Devontae. I know they don't have AJ Brown. But dear Lord, you got your ass kicked. That's all I'm gonna say. Bengals Panthers. Now this is where all my attention, 1,000% of my attention was this past Sunday. This was a must win for Cincinnati. For the Panthers, you're a rebuilding team. You don't really have much to play for. You exchange. He exchanged Bryce Young for Andy Dalton for, I think this is Andy's second game, right? Um, yeah. So I mean, and this was a game I was going to go to, but for whatever reason, this is the first time I've seen this, y'all. Google Maps told me because of, I guess, the Hurricane Helene and all the flooding down there, that Google Maps was like, due to flooding, you might not be able to arrive at your destination or something like that. So I was like, all right, let me not go down there and get stuck in the middle of nowhere and like around the Charlotte area. So sat my black ass on that couch and I watched this game on good old Sunday Ticket. Key takeaways from this game: Joe Burrow played well, besides the one pick, the kind of disconnect between him and Jamar on that one play when he escaped the pocket, was rolling right. Jamar looked like he was gonna continue to run right towards the sidelines as well, but he looked like he was gonna go post instead of, usually when you run the scramble drill, you're supposed to slide with your quarterback, for whatever reason, Jamar faked like he was going to like run a corner and then he went back, or fake like he was gonna go corner and then went post. I don't know. It's hard to explain. You have to go back and see the play, but just disconnect there. That's where that one pick came from. But other than that, Joe Burrow played well. Wasn't sacked. Offensive line looked very, very good. The running game looked very, very good. Chase Brown is unstoppable. Even against the Chiefs front, Chiefs has they very good defense. Chris Jones, Chase Brown was still, grounding and pounding. Like, this second year kid, he might be legit, y'all. I think as the season progresses, he might get more of the carries from Zach Moss. But don't get it twisted, Zach Moss is still a damn good back, but Chase Brown has just been way more explosive. I'm not gonna say dependable, but more explosive for sure, getting the bigger gains. But Zach Moss is still a workhorse. So this dynamic duo, I'm loving. Chase is he's getting freed up here and there, but he's making the most of when he's freed up. 3 catches, 85 yards, a tub, T, basically catching everything else. I can't even pronounce my sophomore's name, y'all. But Andre, this kid's good. This kid in his second year is having more flashes than I've seen his rookie season, where I was like, wait, this kid's actually kind of good. And now I'm just like, wait, this kid's actually really good. And Eric All he might be the gem of our draft class. I think he can do it all. He can play fullback. He's a great tight end. He can catch, run routes. He can block. This guy is a sneaky good pickup for them in the fourth round. From Iowa, they make great tight ends. Loving him so far. Defense finally got stops. We forced them to punt a couple times. Stopped them on the first drive when it was like 4th and goal. Stopped them from scoring. So defense picked it up this week, although people might say it's Carolina. Hey, Carolina's looked competitive the past 2 weeks with Andy Dalton as quarterback. So I'm not putting too much, I guess, not putting too much stock into it, being able to get stops. But it is an encouraging sign against a competitive team where, Carolina before Bryce Young was not competitive. They were, kind of, in the dumps per se. So going from in the dumps to being competitive with a veteran quarterback. I'll take any type of uh, win against a team like that. And then for Carolina, I think Dalton played okay. The Red Rifle. It's more so his receivers just dropping passes. Like Leggett dropped a couple passes. Mingo, he dropped like a pass or two. I mean, they just making him look bad out there. Easy first downs if they were just caught passes. So it was good for Cincinnati, but for the Panthers, you just these guys are young, so they'll learn. Maybe they heard the footsteps. Maybe they just too into the moment. Who knows? The moment moment might have been too big for them, but regardless, this is something they can build upon. They look good offensively. Defensively, they lost a couple guys, so they started to be shaky come second half. Because first half, it was pretty neck and neck, and then Cincinnati just took off in the third quarter. I think it was like 31-14 at one point, and then Carolina came back a little bit. But great game overall. Cincinnati has Ravens next week, so that's a whole nother can of worms to open up. We'll talk about that on Wednesday. 4 o'clock games because I didn't watch any more ones. Commanders Cardinals. I mean, Jaden Daniels is torching whoever he plays at this point. The Cardinals, even though they got bad defense, they just got cut up and sliced and diced by Jaden. Did have a pick, but hey, you can't expect the rookie to play perfectly every single game. B-Rob, Brian Robinson he's running that damn ball. No Eckler, so he's just taking more carries. I love that for him. Deserves why he's showing why he deserves to be the lead back. Then on the flip side, Kyler didn't look good. I don't know why. I mean, offensive line looked like it held up decently, but he just was kind of shaky when making decisions. Not throwing the ball, running, deciding to run. Sometimes hesitant to run. So I don't know what's going on with Kyler because he looked pretty damn good against the Rams. Looked good against the Bills. So I don't know what's going on. This is a team that me and Lawrence are kind of high on. Thinking they could be borderline playoff, but at this rate, if they don't kind of fix whatever the hell they got going on, that's a long lost dream right there. But yeah, I didn't watch too much of that game. I'll say I mainly watched Chiefs Chargers. Now this is kind of a shit show game. Not much was going on. Rashid Rice did get taken out the game. He left the game, believed to have a torn ACL. If you haven't heard already, not confirmed at this moment. This is Monday night. They still are having tests done. Maybe it's a partial tear. Maybe it's a full tear. We won't know probably until tomorrow, Wednesday at the latest. So sucks for the Chiefs, but they keep finding ways to win. So maybe they'll find wins. Sneak some more wins out until Pacheco gets back. They have Kareem Hunt right now. Played well. On the flip side, Chargers, Herbie just doesn't look like himself. I don't know what the hell's going on. And then that rushing attack that they had the first, 2-3 games, looked non-existent against the Chiefs. And that's saying something because Cincinnati could run the ball against the Chiefs. So I don't know what happened. Maybe I know Cincinnati's offensive line has greatly improved. Mims, the rookie right tackle, looked amazing. But they had their own rookie, I think left tackle, right? Joe also left tackle. Regardless, Joe Alt's a high pick too. He looked pretty good coming out of Notre Dame. So I don't know what to tell y'all on this. Maybe it's just a fluke of a game, but the Chargers definitely a ground and pound team. Herbie doesn't look like himself, so you think they would even resort to that more, but just couldn't get that running game going against the Chiefs. So we will see how the Chargers look going forward. They look like a team to be kind of on the lookout for, but after this win and after the way Herbert looked, I don't know too much about that anymore. Browns Raiders. This is another game that was on multi-view. The only comments I have to make about this: the Browns easily could have won. The Raiders just don't look good for whatever reason. Devontae Adams honestly he's probably played his last game as a Raider. Coach AP liked the tweet something about it was either a tweet or Instagram post, y'all, and he was like, "Has Devontae Adams played his last game as a Raider?" And he liked that tweet. So, and after the comments last week that we kind of touched up on, I think Devontae is just it's only a matter of time before he's out of there. But the Browns' offensive line, what happened? Just 1 year of, and honestly, I don't think they lost anybody in free agency from the offensive line. Like, what the hell is going on? Like, not all this is on Deshaun. Yes, he's still not playing as the Texans Deshaun that we know. But his offensive line is terrible. Like, they can't run the ball. Although this game they ran a little bit better, but for the other 3 games they could not run the ball, and they're not giving Deshaun enough time to throw the ball, develop routes. So the offense is honestly very limited, and in a division like the AFC North, where you're going to start playing divisional games soon, this is not a good sign. I think me and Lawrence are both kind of high on the Browns. We thought that, hey, they on paper had the best defense, and on paper probably have the second or third best offense. So, they should be doing better than their record says. So, this is an interesting situation. This is very, very interesting. We'll have to monitor this. But like I said, I didn't really watch this game, so I'm not going to go too in depth. And then last night's game, Bills-Ravens. Only thing I got to say is Ravens dominated. I expected way more out of the Bills, but Ravens defense came to play. And one thing that the Bills, like every other team, has exploited the pass, because the Ravens secondary for like the second or the third year straight is just not very good. And the Bills kind of neglected to exploit that. And I think that's a testament to not having Diggs, not really having. Yeah, even though Gabe Davis we made fun of last year, saying he plays one game, takes one game off. Gabe Davis still took the top off the defense. He was still a deep threat you had to worry about, because you would hate for it to be your team that he goes off on. And teams do that, so they had a dynamic duo. Last year, and then both of those guys are gone. Coleman's a rookie, dropped a big catch. I think that was like near the 10 or 20 that would have put the Bills in scoring position at one point. Yeah, it just seems like the receivers and tight ends can't really get separation, even though they're decent. They just, for whatever reason, just couldn't get it done against the Ravens, and I was very surprised. And then the rushing game just wasn't there either. So, I expect that from the Ravens. Their front 7+ linebackers, they're going to be good. They're going to be able to stop the run. But if you want to beat the Ravens, you got to exploit the secondary. It's just not very good, y'all. And Josh Allen failed to do that. It's not much more else to say than that. It was just a complete domination at home by the Ravens. The rushing attack is real, and it will be a sight to see next week. We will see how Cincinnati tries to contain this running attack next week at Cincinnati. So, it's definitely going to be a good matchup, but we'll talk about that more on Wednesday. Let's move on to some college. Now, Friday night in that bullshit. The ACC, I love the ACC. I grew up on the ACC. Virginia Tech. I'm an honorary Hokie. Didn't go to Virginia Tech, but I love that school to death. They got screwed, y'all. And even if you want to say, hey, the call on the field shouldn't have been a catch completed for a touchdown, you took like 7-8 minutes to look at the film. If there was undisputable evidence, you would have saw it the first time. You would have saw it the second time. It wouldn't have taken you 7, 8 minutes to watch it, go over the film, make a decision. So that leads me to believe that you got a call from the head office, ACC office, wherever you're located, and they said, "Fuck it, let's just give it to Miami. We need a team to represent us in the college football playoffs." Even though you almost lost to an unranked team that's got beat by Rutgers and got beat by forgot who else. Forgot who else they lost to, but they you got outplayed, and probably should have lost, but whatever the case is, that should not have been overturned. I know a lot of people were in uproar. Very controversial call. So I mean, this is just another example. And I know Lawrence is pretty, has said his piece about this, about rigging, and about pushing certain agendas and stuff like that. If there's not any more evidence to put out there, then this is like the final straw for me. Like this, like I try not to be in that crowd that says everything's rigged or stuff like that. But I mean, it's hard not to believe that at this point when stuff like this happens. Like you looked at it for 8 minutes, and in 8 minutes, in like the first minute, you shouldn't have been able to find evidence to overrule the call on the field, and it took you 8, 9, 10 minutes. And then they said they gave an explanation. No, you didn't. The ref said it was after review, the pass is incomplete. The game is over. And then the next day they put out a statement with their explanation. So I know we all know that's bullshit at this point. So, I mean, it is what it is. Tech got robbed. Miami should have lost. Even if you want to say it wasn't a catch, hey, they called it a catch on the field. You got to have indisputable evidence to overturn it. And they just did not. Other than that, it was a very enjoyable game. I'm not going to lie. It's very enjoyable, but it sucks that the end had to ruin it. Had to ruin a whole, 60 minutes. So, I mean, that's where I'm at it. Rigging or not, I mean, this put me to the other side. Like I can't not say that things aren't rigged, because after what I saw on Friday night, it's very clear that certain agendas have to be pushed for money, for Vegas, for other interests. It's very clear and obvious. So I hope you're happy, ACC. Other game I watched, Georgia, Alabama. Go Roll Tide. Ryan Williams is a beast. Yeah, this kid at 17 is damn good. This kid is good. I don't think I ever seen anything like this besides Devontae Smith, but I didn't see that until he was a sophomore, junior. This kid's a freshman, 17 years old, fresh out of high school. Like, I mean, this isn't usual. Like, this is very, very unusual. And this kid's not scared at the moment. Makes all the big catches. That catch in the fourth quarter when they were down, and he took it to the house. I was like, what the hell? Like that. It's like, this kid's legit. This kid's legit. And 2 years from now, this kid's gonna be a top 5 pick without a doubt. This kid's gonna be the best receiver in football by next season. Like, this kid is legit. Jalen Milroe played well. Carson Beck, lot of costly turnovers. Didn't look like himself. Probably, because of the Bam defense got to him, riled him up a little bit. Made a good comeback at the end, but I mean, if it wasn't for Bama being laxed, taking their foot off the gas, they should have crushed Georgia. Honestly, probably should have been like 60-34. Shouldn't have been this close. They just took their foot off the gas, and then I think that'll teach them, for future games. Hey, you go up big. Excuse me. If you go up big, just keep putting your foot in the throat. Just keep on putting up points. I mean, there's nothing they can do to stop you. Why you easing up? But otherwise, it was a good game. And then, like I said, I was traveling most of Saturday, so I didn't watch too many games, but I did watch Your Colorado Buffalo beat UCF with a game by Shador, with a game by Travis Hunter, hitting the Heisman pose. I think they were supposed to lose to UCF by 14, and then they end up spanking them. That was a real testament to just how good they are. Um, they're on a bye week, and then after the bye week this week they'll play Kansas State. So I think that's probably the biggest. I'm not gonna say their biggest, but that's the second biggest test up to date. The other one being Nebraska, and they got spanked around by Nebraska. So we'll see if they get spanked around by another very good team in Kansas State. I watched that Kansas State game on the flight back. Yeah, they were smacking around Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State didn't have nothing for them. I mean, Kansas State was getting whatever they wanted. Their quarterback is very, very good. Can throw on the run. Elusive, throwing dimes. Their receivers are good. Their running back is good. Overall, they're just good. They're very good offensively. So this will be a test to Colorado's defense. I know their secondary is solid, but can they hold down the fort? And then they got to pull another game like UCF and try to contain the run. You don't have to completely stop it, but you got to contain it to give your offense a chance to match points, because you're gonna need a stop at some point. If you can get a stop, get your offense the ball. Hopefully they'll be able to produce some points, and then that's their best shot at trying to win against Kansas State in about 2 weeks. But yeah, it's a pretty impressive win against UCF. Beat them by 24. Very, very impressive. Um, yeah, other than that, I didn't watch any other college football. Um, Only other news I kind of want to touch on, other than Dikembe Mutombo passed away unfortunately today at 58 of brain cancer. I'm sorry. So prayers and thoughts goes out to his family, loved ones, friends. Um, Honestly, one of my, I was back in the day. If you guys don't know, I was a Sixers fan. So honestly, my second favorite player behind AI. I mean, I played with him in 2K. If I wasn't using Allen Iverson, I was using Mutombo. Um, back in the day, and very good defensive big man. Very unfortunate that he had to pass away so soon. But um, up next, though, there was the big trade that's not official, but Karl Anthony Towns and the Timberwolves, the Knicks are in talks to send Cat to the Knicks for I think like DiVincenzo and Julius Randle. Um, so we'll see. The trade's not done yet, but it should be done sometime this week. Um, Now my thoughts on this very early on, and this is before we know the actual full trade details. My first thoughts are I don't like it for both teams. I think for the Knicks, I think bringing on a player like Cat on a supermax contract. I like Cat, but do I like him that much for him to be on a supermax? No, I don't think he's produced to the level that I want from a supermax player, and I don't think that changes in New York. I think even though New York is probably a better team than Minnesota is and will ever be, I think I think the Knicks, number one, I don't think he's built for Coach Tibbs' system. Number one, and number two, I don't think that he will bring enough defensive intensity. Yeah, he'll stretch the floor. Yeah, he'll grab your rebounds. Yeah, he'll score 20. Hopefully, he'll score 20 a night. Give Jalen Brunson some scoring, relief. But I think he's just a bigger Julius Randle. For being honest, he's injury prone. Um, His motor it fluctuates. I feel like him and Anthony Davis kind of have the same thing where their motor kind of fluctuates. I don't know if it's a Kentucky big man thing, because Bam has the same thing, but um, yeah, I don't like that about him. Um, so, and then on the flip side, we look at Minnesota. All you could get back is Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo. Some people say it's a good trade, but if you look at it like this, y'all, Julius Randle is basically on an expiring contract. He has a player option, but he's not gonna accept that unless he like gets super injured and can't play. Then yeah, he'll accept it. But chances are Julius Randle's gonna play out his contract, try to get another big deal. Um, yeah, it'll be cheaper than a supermax, but it's still gonna be a lot of money. So if you're just trying to be less cheap, then this is a horrible way to do it. So you're forced into re-signing him or tricking another team into trading again, and then flip him for a piece that you actually want. And then two, DiVincenzo is just not a good enough, like I guess, consolation prize. Like, okay, yeah, you get Julius Randle, and then like the sweetener is DiVincenzo. I don't think that's good. So we have to see until the full details come out. I'm assuming some picks are going to be involved. At first, I thought all of the remaining New York picks will be involved because if I'm the Timberwolves, you don't have any picks. I would want at least one or two picks, one unprotected, or you can give me two protected picks. I think that would be enough of a sweetener to do this deal. But other than that, you're basically just swapping a supermax guy for another guy who's getting a near max, maybe not supermax, but a near max, and then you have to end up paying him. Then DiVincenzo, who's on a good contract, but is DiVincenzo good enough, like sidekick for Ant Man? No. Hey, I like DiVincenzo, but he's not that damn good. So I don't think it's a good trade by either team. I think it's pretty stupid. Apparently, it's been in the works all summer, and I guess this was just the time to do it. Um, and let's be honest, me and Lawrence kind of called this one. We did say that this twin tower duo was not working out, and at some point they would probably try to move off of one of them. Um, Honestly, I didn't think it would be this early. I was thinking more of, you know, the first year, hey, it didn't work out, missed the playoffs. Second year, we see some positive signs. You get all the way to the Western Conference playoffs, but then in the playoffs, in the conference finals, you kind of see how that lineup gets exploited. They can't really play those two together because Luka's just picking them apart, picking apart Cat. He's picking apart, dribbling around Gobert. So at that point, you saw that hey, maybe this actually is not a good pairing. So from that standpoint, I was thinking, hey, maybe they'll start the season with these two, and then maybe towards the trade deadline, when a deal that was more favorable to them than this one would show up, they would hop on that. But for whatever reason, they didn't give it another go. I understand because me and Lawrence called this back in our off season reviews, but I don't think either of us had this moving of the Twin Towers happening this soon. I feel like this was more of a thing that we expected to happen during the trade deadline, during that time frame. So, um, yeah, with that being said, I won't have much more to say until the final details once again are worked out, which probably should happen sometime this week. So maybe on Wednesday we'll fully flesh out this trade with Lawrence giving his opinion. But first thoughts, first thoughts. Honestly, this is a lose lose. One of the rare lose lose trades I've seen in a while. I do not like it for either team. I know a lot of people are hyping it up, but I don't think it makes either team better. I feel like if anything, both teams were better off just keeping their players and finding better trade partners for both of their situations problems. So other than that, y'all, I think that's it for episode 117. On Wednesday we will have our games of the week, and then I believe maybe not this week but next week we'll start breaking down NBA by division, the preseason, previews, on the teams. We'll do it by division, so we can get all those wrapped up before the NBA season starts. Starts in a couple weeks, y'all. I think October 17th is the first game. So NBA season is coming up, and it's coming up quickly. So we will get into some NBA coverage, potentially starting next week. So that should be fun. But other than that, y'all, it's MTL Sports episode 117. Hope you guys enjoy. Thank you guys for watching us on YouTube and listening on Spotify, all that good stuff. And we're going to head on out. Peace.